Hey my dinos, hope you're all fed and well. If not, I can put you out of your misery. Come jump in my belly at the IG Paradise server. I'll even give you 35 tips so you can play more effectively, because in the end, all that really means is more dinos for me to eat. First things first, guys. Current patch number 0.1528. Tip number 1. Staying still is the best way to find AI because it spawns near players. Beginner players die of starvation because they think they have to keep running to find prey. You don't need to stay in one spot, but at least stay in one general area. Tip number 2. Scent does not work while it's raining. Tip number 3. Scent shows edible corpses when you're a carnivore and edible vegetation when you're a herbivore. And tip number 4. Crouching hides your tracks. Tip number 5. Turn off night vision to see tracks at night more effectively. Tip number 6. Here is the best map that I've found to help you navigate the Isle. The link will be in the description. Tip number 7. When it's raining, your hydration decreases at a slower rate. Tip number 8. Be wary when approaching dinos of the same species. They will not always take care of you. I've been eaten before, don't let that happen to you. Tip number 9. Stay up to date on all the recent patch notes so that you can get a good idea of your dino's strengths and weaknesses. The link to the official Discord is in the description. All the patch notes are in the announcements section. Tip number 10. You won't be able to eat anything that dies in the water unless it's on the very edge and you take the time to try and get the perfect angle, so avoid killing any creatures in the water. If this happens to you, you can press Control to crouch, which will eliminate your head bob, which will make it easier. Tip number 11. Trees and bushes are a dino's favorite place to hide. Be mindful of the foliage around you. Tip number 12. Sucos will hide in the water and pounce on you when you drink. Look for bubbles and ripples in the water. If you are especially worried about it or uncertain if you have spotted signs of a Suco, you can wait to drink if you're not dying of dehydration, because they will eventually have to come to land to replenish their stamina. Although, if they are an adult, you're in for quite the wait. Tip number 13. If you accept a nest invite, you will lose your current dino, and you will become a fresh hatchling in a group of at least one male and one female dino who have created a nest. This is a good way to get some fresh tips from some already experienced players. Tip number 14. Pressing tab will open the player list where you can see how many players are on the server and each of their names. Here you can press the plus symbol to invite anyone you want. Players will only receive an invite from players of the same species if you are playing on official servers. Therefore, you can go through the list and invite every player in the server if you are interested in grouping with random dinos of the same species as yourself. Number 15. Talking in any chat will cause your dino to make a loud noise that can be heard by predators, so be wary when communicating and keep it short. 16. There are pros and cons to playing solo and playing in a group. Play the way you want. 17. Calling out gives away your position in a large radius. I wouldn't recommend it. 18. Watering holes are hotspots for activity. Be wary when approaching. Tip number 19. If you break your leg, press H to sit down and heal. You can press insert and scroll over the red broken leg icon to see how much leg break damage you need to heal. Tip number 20. The faster you move, the more tracks you leave behind. I would recommend trotting more often instead of sprinting. Also, you will conserve stamina this way, so when you're in a pinch, you will be able to escape. Tip number 21. Be careful when traversing mountains and hills. You can slide down and break your leg, which means certain death if spotted. Or, you can slide pretty far and just straight up die. Number 22. When one of your meters runs down to 0, you will not die immediately. You will lose health in intervals, and will die faster if both meters are depleted. Tip number 23. The bigger you are, the easier it is to break your leg, so be careful of even small drops if you are a large dino. Number 24. On official servers, there is no global chat. Don't let this turn you off. It is a nice feature because it makes the game more realistic. Number 25. You can only speak to dinos of the same species as you in local chat. 26. If you find someone to group with, don't forget to suggest them to switch to group chat. I'm guilty of accidentally speaking in local chat multiple times. 27. The DNA graphic you see on the stats page is intended for use with an affinity system that will be added at a later date. Disregard it for now. Tip number 28. If waiting for servers to open up frustrates you, then remain patient. Adding server queues is the most requested feature and dev said it will be implemented. Tip number 29. You can ready your ambush sprint before you eat or drink. This is a very useful tactic. If you press control before you eat or drink, your ambush will prepare, and so while you're eating and drinking, if you're spotted by a predator, you can make a quick escape. Tip number 30. Sniffing only uncovers tracks within a radius around your initial sniffing point. Keep this in mind when tracking prey. Eventually the tracks will go cold. At this point, you should stop and wait until you're able to sniff again. Tip number 31. Press insert. At the bottom right of the character/group box, you can see the current in-game time. You can use this to tell when it will be day or night. At around 18 or 19, it will start becoming night, and at around 4, it'll start becoming daylight. Tip number 32. You sniff faster while moving. Tip number 33. More AI spawns near water. Disclaimer, this is not a confirmed tip. Tip number 34. Sniffing while stationary takes longer but improves the radius of uncovered tracks. This is also an unconfirmed tip. Tip number 35 and the final tip. Take your time. Trotting is preferable because when spotted by a predator, you will have full stamina and will be more likely to have a successful escape. So I hope you all got some value out of these tips. Good luck hunting and good luck surviving, and welcome to the Isle. Stay tuned as this game has had great recent success and the devs have lots of upcoming additions to implement, such as new playable races like humans and tribals, more map biomes, more dinos, and more frequent updates. Of course, I will greatly appreciate it if you follow me on YouTube and on Twitch. Have fun everyone, and thanks for watching.